everybody, and welcome to episode 71, I think, of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode and all other episodes on the corresponding thread of the Ravelry group. And thank you all for coming back to watch my podcast. And if you are a new viewer, thanks for checking me out. It is Labor Day weekend in the US, so it's a 3-day weekend. I have Monday off, and I'm very excited about it. Originally, Megwin was going to go stay the night with my mom, but my mom hurt her back. So, Mom, I hope you're feeling better. So we're just going to do a little bit of a special day today. We're going to go to lunch at Panera and then get some ice cream at Jenny's. So try to still make it be special because she was very excited. But obviously it's more important for my mom to recover at home. And she's taking a bath right now downstairs. My husband and my son are at the gym. But if she needs me, I'll have to obviously stop it and run down there. She's almost 8, so she can handle herself just fine. I asked her if it was okay if I went to podcasts, and she was like, yeah, that's fine. So anyway, I have a ton of stuff to show you guys. I've been super productive. I don't know why it took me doing an FO account for myself to make me get my butt into gear, but whatever, it worked. So I believe I have 3 finished objects to share for this week. I know, right? That's crazy. One of them I do not have anymore because I've gifted it, but I did take lots of pictures, so I can talk you through it. So let's go ahead and get started. So my first finished object is the Wee Liesel cardigan by Isolde Teak. And I showed it to you, I think last podcast, all the knitting was done, but the buttons weren't sewn on and it was not blocked and the ends were not woven in. So I did all of that, obviously, before I gifted it. And I gave it to my friend Jen last week for her baby shower, and she was super psyched about it. She loved that it was Gilmore Girls themed yarn, and she's a knitter, so she really appreciated that it was the Yarn at Home Mom yarn, which she adores, and she's also part of Shannon's Gilmore Girls Club. So we both signed up for the 6-month club, and we got our first shipment, which I will show later in the acquisition section. So anyway, she was super happy to get it, very excited. So I will insert a couple of pictures here. So isn't it cute? Oh my God, I can't wait to see pictures of it on her baby. And she's due in October, right around Halloween. So hoping that everything goes really smoothly for her, and can't wait to see pictures of her baby in it. Yay! My colors are a little bit distorted today, just FYI. This is actually a pumpkin colored sweater. It looks red on my camera, at least, because it's really gray and rainy outside, which is fabulous. I love this kind of day so much. It tells me that fall is coming, and I was looking out the window at work, and I happened to notice a couple of little orange leaves here and there out in the little creek bed between our 2 buildings. And then over the course of the last week, they've just multiplied everywhere. So the leaves are definitely changing. The weather is getting cooler. Today it is in the mid 50s, which is about, let's see, subtract 30, divide by 2. So about 10 degrees Celsius. So definitely on the cool side, which is great. So we're just gonna go with it for the lighting, right? We're gonna make it happen. And I'm using my phone just because it's really quick to get it set up, obviously. I don't really have to set anything up. And I just sit it on my windowsill, so I'm in the nook. that is a label I'm going to need to show you later. So, finished objects. I'm going to need my box of socks. Oh, for that. Let's turn it right side up, shall we? So, for those just joining me, I'm participating in Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast and the Dyer Behind Woolen Vine Yarns cowl. It's a year-long cowl, and it is called the Box of Socks cowl. She's done it for 2 or 3 years now. I've never actually successfully completed it, but this year I'm feeling good about my chances. So I got this box a Tuesday morning last year in their Christmas clearance sale, and I love it. I really love owls. Megwin's room is decorated with owls, and yeah, so it has an owl Christmas tree. So, finished object number 1, speaking of Christmas, I finished my gingerbread house socks. Yay! And these are knit out of gingerbread house in the Bliss base from the Cozy Knitter. I got this yarn last year. She did a big gingerbread house only update last year, and so I bought this yarn in that update. It comes with the contrasting yarn for the heels, toes, and cuffs. I don't typically do contrasting cuffs. I usually just do contrasting heels and toes, but I was worried I would run out of this yarn. I didn't need to worry because I had plenty, but now I probably have enough to make a pair of Christmas socks for one of the kids, so I'll probably make a smaller pair for one of the kids. And I am really happy with how well I matched up the stripes on these. See, they pretty much match up, basically all the way down. They are the same length. It's looking a little bit distorted. So it is a self-striping sock yarn. It's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6 striper. The contrasting yarn is the cream. So I just did a vanilla sock pattern. My vanilla socks are a 64 stitch variant. I knit them on 2.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 1.5. Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say about them. This yarn is very toothy, so I think they're going to be really durable socks, but I was having a lot of issues with dry hands over the last month or so, so it kind of made a little spot on my finger. So anyway, I would suggest moisturizing if you're going to knit with the Bliss base. I have one other set of these in a Christmas color, but I'm saving them for when Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast's 12 Socks of Christmas cowl begins, and those will probably be my final pair that I will knit for the box of socks. Because I want to have a Christmas themed yarn to knit along with Sarah and the gang, and I don't have a ton of Christmas yarn. So anyway, yay! Another pair into the box of socks. Rolling them up. Okay, and then also in the box of socks, I finished my Flea sprinkle socks. I believe these were, you know what, I can't say that because the gingerbread house socks I actually cast on in January of this year too. I knit like half a leg and then I ripped out their needles like a horrible person and left it half knitted with all of its stitches hanging loose. But it was fine, I picked them back up, right? So it was totally okay. But I do that. I just tear the needles out and I recklessly cast other things on. So these are also just 64 stitch vanilla sock pattern, 2.5 millimeter needles. This is my standard vanilla sock. So if it's a vanilla sock, 99% of the time that's what it's going to be for me. This is knit in the Sprinkles colorway of Knit Picks Felici. And they always have one set of stripes that are really close to each other in color value. So this is a lime green and then a very pale custardy yellow. But I think they're still pretty distinct. So I really, really love these. I do a slip stitch heel, wedge toe. On my heels, I always knit with from the other end of the ball. And then I think for this heel, no, it's this heel. I wound off until I was at basically the same point on the ball. So I just used that little nugget to do the heel flap on this one. So again, really happy with those. They're super soft, as Felici always is. And that is pair number 7 in my box of socks. Is anybody else doing the box of socks, Cal? How are you doing? I know Jessica started doing it, and she has 8 pairs, I think. Maybe 9? I love her box, though. It's so cute. So there they all are in the box. I'm probably going to have to go to a second layer to fit all 12 of them in here, but that's okay. I'll have to think through how to do the FO picture so that Kristen can see that I have 12 pair in there. I'm not cheating, Kristen, I swear. Okay, so those are all of my FOs for this week. I was really, really close to getting 2 more FOs, but I have to seize the moment when I have it to record, so I could have finished one of the things, or I podcast, and I chose to podcast. So let's go into whips. I'm just gonna go from the top down. So continuing in the vein of the box of socks, as you can see, I had 7 pairs in there. I need to have 5 more pair before the end of the year. And these I cast on when my aunt passed away. So I had actually got this Felici yarn from my mom before my Aunt Lynn passed away, and it just wasn't really my mom's colors. And so I wanted to just do something to remember her. And so I cast these on. I ended up finishing the other Felici that I got from her stash first. But I do still want to complete these. This is actually Felici fingering. The other was classic Felici sport, and this is classic Felici fingering. So the stripes used to be a little bit smaller. They were more of a 4-row stripe. And the newer Felici is more like 6 rows for each stripe, at least with my gauge. Obviously, your gauge will differ. So this is the Summer Berries colorway. I love these colors so much. This is totally my jam. Isn't that beautiful? So anyway, again, 64 stitches, 1.5 millimeter, 1.5 US, 2.5 millimeter needles. So I had again finished most of the leg, and then I ripped its needles out and went and cast something else on, because I do that. So I picked them back up last night. I knit a couple of rows just to straighten all of the stitches out and get back into the groove. I think I maybe have like 4 more rows, and then I will start the heel. So they're cooking. There's the ball, number 1. Okay, so that is whip number 1. Whip number 2. This one I have next to my bed, so I've just been working on it when I go to lay down at night. Sometimes Joshua doesn't want to settle down right away, so I try to at least go into the bedroom and try to have low light and get him to be a little bit more calm. Sometimes my husband comes in and reads while he's laying there. Sometimes he just kind of lays there and flops around. So this is my sock head hat with the S'mores yarn from No Makers. It's in the, I should have looked it up. It's her base that has alpaca in it. Fancy Gnome? No, Fancy Gnome is MCN. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Dainty Gnome has silk. Ugh, it's gonna bother me. It's really gonna bother me. Anyway, I bought some of her Smore Sock yarn when it first came out, and this was when she first introduced the alpaca base as well, which I really love. So I intended for this to be my camping hat. I have not finished it, and we are going to go camping the weekend of wool gathering, but maybe I'll at least be able to knit on it. Sock heads should not be rushed. They are a Zen project. So it's meant to be, graham cracker, chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker. I love how it's spiraling. It's going to be so squishy and fun. I'm knitting this on 2.75 mil Addy sock rockets. And on my other sock head that I did out of Full and Vine Blitzed, I actually did not change needles between the ribbing and the stockinette portion. I found that I liked the little bit tighter fit on the head proper portion, keeping it the same. So, your mileage may vary. Here's the yarn in the skein. This is the one that was damaged in the great mothing, but it just had one little place where the yarn was chewed. So I reskeined it and washed it and cut out the bad part, and I still have plenty to use for my sock head. And then I have one more that I cut into a little mini. Since I was already winding it anyway, I wound off like a little 10-gram ball to put into my blanket. So that's that. Smore Socket. And it's in my little bag that was gifted to me by Becky, who is Gathers No Moss on Ravelry. I don't remember if she has a shop or not, but she made a bunch of these bags for a lot of us in the Itty Bitty Knits group and sent them out like years and years ago. So I've had mine for a really long time, but it's great for a one skein project. Okay, let's see how. Gotta dig down for the next one. This is the one I almost had completed. Sort of, almost. But if I had worked on it exclusively last night, I would have got this done. So it is my Candy Cane Coffee Socks. This is knit out of the Yarn at Home Mom. It's her regular merino nylon blend in the Candy Cane Coffee colorway. I love all the speckles on this skein. I can't even, they're so fun. And then I popped in a really Christmassy red heel. And I did not put a toe in because, as I've said, I had just a mini of the red and I did not want to run out. That's all I got left of that. So I got down to the heel on the second sock. And I just joined it. And my little Hedwig stitch marker is on there. Progress keeper. So I probably will get these done this weekend. Because vanilla socks are super, super easy. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not putting my other sock in there. Okay, so if I finish those and the summer berries, I will be at 9 pair, which leaves me with 3 to finish before December. It should be totally doable. Like I said, I want to work on the 1 pair during Sarah's thing. Jilly just opened up a Halloween socks knit along, spooky socks knit along, And I'm going to knit my Mooncusser socks for that. I've been wanting to knit those in the Taunus sock pattern that's designed by Becky Sorensen, and she hosts the Stringing It Together podcast, which I just started watching. So I'm catching up on the back episodes, but it's a really great podcast. And she does knitting and sewing, so it's really inspiring all around. So you can check her out if you are so inclined. That is in my Go Knit pouch. This is like a ripstop nylon with a little thingy. This is the one I use a lot when I want to knit while I'm walking, because it doesn't matter if your needles stab through, and it's got a belt loop, so you can put it on your belt. I actually participated in the Heart Walk last weekend, and I knit my candy cane coffee socks all through while I was waiting for the Heart Walk to begin, and all through the Heart Walk while I was chatting with my team. So I finished most of that leg during the Heart Walk. So it's nice. I've got a little memory knit into my socks. And I'll show my last knitting whip, and then I'll move to cross-stitch whips. In case you're interested, this t-shirt is from ThinkGeek. They don't do cool t-shirts anymore. All their t-shirts are weird. They've gone really weird. But they used to have really cool science-y stuff, which is why I liked them. I had a ton of t-shirts, and they've slowly aged out over time. And I went to go buy a bunch more, and they don't carry the same kind of stuff anymore. They've really gone in a different direction. But this is a caffeine molecule. And I used to have one that was theobromine as well. And that's like the chemical in chocolate. But there you go, caffeine. Isn't it beautiful? It's a beautiful molecule with a pumpkin-y sweater. All right, so for my next whip, I was, again, close to being done. I stayed up way too late last night trying to finish this, which I had no hope of doing last night, but I have big dreams. Let's just say that. So it's my French toast sweater. So I kind of pulled this out of hibernation, and I really started knitting on it with a purpose because I wanted to finish it for my FO Cal. And now the Fawn Knits podcast is hosting a Knit That Sweater Cal. So you can use any whip sweater or any sweater you've always wanted to knit and just haven't done it. It's just trying to get you to knit that sweater. So I wanted to use that as motivation to finish this sweater. So last night I completed the picking up the neckband and binding it off. I learned how to do a sewn tubular bind off on 1x1 rib. I am so freaking impressed with this. It looks so cool. I thought I was screwing it up, but it turns out that with a single space, sometimes you get those weird little, like this is a really sheepy wool. So you get those little things where it's kind of connecting together with a little strand and you just break it apart. So I had a couple of those, so I actually wasn't messing it up. It was just being sheepy. So there you go. So I have a nice little neckline now. And then I have one sleeve completely done except for the cuff. So I'm knitting the cuff right now. I just changed to my smaller needles and started the ribbing. And I've been posting the heck out of this on Instagram, so I apologize, guys, for doing that. On the bottom, I used Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. What is on there? Oh, it's nothing. It's just two places on the yarn where those really pop out because it's blowing out this yarn really badly. It's actually like just a part where it's lighter green. There's no white spots on this yarn, but there are spots where like it's just yellowy green. It didn't quite pick up the dye as much. You can see that. But I alternated skeins throughout. So I alternated every row on my knitting. I may go back and do a sewn bind off. A sewn tubular bind off because I really liked the effect on the neckline. We'll see how lazy I am. I also kind of wanted to do my ribbing a little bit longer. I like it the length it is. It's the right length, but I also really like to have a long ribbing on the bottom of my sweaters. I just think it looks really nice. And then I'll show you the central cable again. I really love this cable. I'm totally in love with it. I would absolutely knit this sweater again. I knit it in the size 38. I did not have to make any modifications to it because it fit perfectly. Yeah, I just followed the pattern, and I guess the only thing I modified is that I don't start my waist decreases until I get past the fullest part of my bust. But I mean, all patterns just kind of tell you to knit until that point. And then my waist increases, I did like right before my ribbing because I didn't need a super long time of that. So at the risk of being ridiculous, and I will edit it out if it doesn't work, I was going to try it on for you guys because I'm super happy with how it fits. So let's do it. Let's do weird, awkward things on our podcast that will mess up our hair. Because I don't have glasses on, so that should be okay. Right. And it called for doing the sleeves first and then the neckband, but I was thinking about it and I was like, the neckband is going to actually pull the sleeves back in because it was very wide and loose. So I stopped and decided I was going to do the neckline first to make sure I didn't make my sleeves too short. So there you go. That's one sleeve. I'm going to do 3/4 sleeves. So I'm just going to knit the cuff maybe to right there, which I guess is maybe, is that bracelet length sleeves? I think right now it's technically 3/4. So I'm going to do maybe like that much ribbing. I want like a 2-inch cuff. Because again, I think that looks really nice on it. So you can see like the fit is really nice. It's a little bit loose. I would say it probably has 0 ease on this part of my body and negative ease obviously in the bust area. There's the back. It's just plain on the back. So you can see like I like that length a lot, and when it's on, as always, the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off looks totally fine. It just looks really weird when you don't have it on. So I super duper want to finish this, guys. I really do. And it has like a V-neck when you have it on. So I really love it. It's warm, it's cozy. I was wearing it without a shirt under it, and it was fine. It did not itch me at all. It is merino, but is not superwash. So it's a merino single, non-superwash. It's not as soft as some of the like merino bases that people use for sock indie dyeing, but I really like it. It feels a little bit more sheepy. So I think it'll be not as easily pilly, which is good because I don't want my sweater to be pilling like crazy. Isn't it awesome, guys? Oh my God, I love it so much. I love it so much. The pattern, if I did not mention it, is the French Toast by Alicia Plummer. She also goes by Two Little Plums on Ravelry. She and Dandelion Girl, who's Melissa Seshwari, do a once a year 40% off pattern sale. So every year when they do that, I buy any of their new designs that they've put out over the last year. So I had this one in my library for at least 2 years. I'm so happy that I knit it. She writes great, amazing patterns. You should knit them. They are awesome sauce. And I don't know what else to say about that. I knit the body on size 9s, US. And I'm knitting the, I knit the neckline and the sleeves, cuffs on a size 7. The bottom, I did not change needles because I didn't want it to be too tight on my hips. And I'm really glad that I did that because the ribbing is actually a slip stitch ribbing. So it is not as stretchy as a normal 1x1 ribbing would be. So it might have been a little bit too tight for my hips. And I'm going to put this back on because it is chilly up in the nook today, which is awesome. I love wearing cardigans. I love it being fall. Everyone at work is like, no, it's going to snow soon. I'm like, God, I wish it would. We had such a not winter last year. It is terrifying that we had a winter that caused me to not even have to wear my winter coat. I just wore like a light wool jacket that was supposed to be a spring jacket all winter. And that was fine. And that's not okay. All right. Last whip. No, I've got one more. I've got one more, guys, down in here, down in my bag. It's in my fun bag that you all know I love. I cast on for the 4th and final Patons Kroy blue striped rag sock. This is the 3rd one. If you recall my little kerfuffle with these socks, I knit the legs in 2 different lengths for my husband. I finished the shorter pair for him. This is the longer leg pair. They are his favorite gym socks now. He loves them. He loves how the yarn feels. He loves how they fit. So I need to do the 4th one for him. And because I keep churning out socks, he's very sweet, but I can see he's looking over at me like, seriously, lady, another pair of socks for yourself. You have a whole drawer full. I have 5 pairs. 4 pairs. So here's the yarn. It is Patons Kroy in the blue striped rag colorway. I had to buy another ball to finish this last sock because I used it all up. So here's what I've got so far. He requested that I try to make them match at least where they begin, so that when he's going to put them on in the morning, he doesn't have to match them up by leg to see which ones match. So the other ones begin on this navy blue stripe, and these begin on the light blue stripe. I will also put in a couple of stitches of red on the toe once I've completed both of them, because I'd like it to be in the same place. So you could tell I wasn't very motivated on these. I felt like, oh, I'm going to get more finished objects done for the podcast. So I knew I couldn't complete a 72 stitch man sock to be out. So I didn't work on it. I threw my progress keeper from Meg of Bad Wolf Girls Sits and Knits podcast in the Bad Wolf Girls Studios Etsy shop. It is a mermaid. It's kind of big for the socks I had it on. I had it on Megwin's Hermione socks, and like it was the size of the leg, or most of the leg, so it's kind of getting in my way. But it makes a really amazing zipper pull. All right, finally, I'm on my cross stitch. This bag is actually a cosmetics bag. I really need to up my game on my cross stitch bag. I have some Bull and Vine and Yarngasm pins on it. I had one from Molly of Homespun House, and it popped off there last night. So I just threw it in the bag to be safe. It's a little teacup. It's a wooden teacup. She used to have a lot of these pins in her shop. I don't know if she still does. She's kind of revamped her shop a lot. Okay, so I am working on the, oh boy, my needle has gone missing. It's not on my needle minder. Oh no. Oh no. It's in my bag somewhere. Just don't root around too much, Nina. All right. So I'm working on the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Halloween Town sampler. It was a mystery stitch along. It's the last Halloween. Maybe it was 2 years ago. think it was actually 2 years ago. It was a mystery stitch along. They just released their new one and I desperately want to stitch it, but I'm restraining myself because I already have 2 other Halloween designs of theirs that I need to finish first. But they released one called the Black Hat Society and it looks so stinking cute. I'm probably not going to be able to resist forever. Also, their new needle minder has a frog on it. A frog. So cute. All right. So I was almost done with this thing when I decided to put it down. I don't know what possesses me to put things down and start new things when I'm 90% done. But I guess on the bright side, then when I come back to them, I feel so accomplished with putting in very little work. I've always been a weird person. I can't resist my own impulses. So it's kind of like a little scene of a town of lots of little Halloween-y characters. And I am not going to do the bottom. It says Halloween Town on it, and then it has lots of little different jack-o'-lanterns, keys, owls, that kind of stuff. But I want to put this onto a bag, a project bag. So I just want it to be like the little panel, and then I'm going to quilt around it some little strips of fabric. Then I'll put a bottom on it. I showed you the fabric last podcast. So let's come closer for the stitching. I can't see what I'm showing you. I'm sorry. So I've completed a lot of the middle portion. I need to still backstitch. There's a little witch in a cupcake bakery. There's a scarecrow with some little crows on him. There's the pumpkin patch. There's Frankenstein and his... And then there's a little haunted house. And this has a little owl sitting on the roof. And I just haven't stitched him yet. And then there's also an owl on this tree, which I have not stitched. So I have a couple more owls to add in. I'm almost done with the house. And this little needle minder is from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery as well. It's Sugarloaf and Jack. It was from their Happily Ever After sample, which is also a mystery stitch along going on this year. I subscribed, but I have not even started it yet. I more just wanted it for the set because there's the Once Upon a Time, there's the Storybook Classics, and then there's Happily Ever After. So they're kind of a 3-picture set. So at some point, I will stitch all of them, and then they will hang in Megwin's room. I've completed the Once Upon a Time, other than a little bit of back stitching, and then I need to get framed. I started Storybook Classics, so I've just done one little window, but they're really small, so that should be easy. And then, like I said, I haven't even started Happily Ever After, but I have all the materials. But this guy doesn't have a lot of stitching left, so it should be done reasonably soon. I really would like to have that bag for this Halloween-y season. So that is my last thing I've really been working on. Which brings us to acquisitions. Yay! So I got 2 packages over the last couple of weeks, and I didn't bring it up with me last time, so I just decided to show it this time. I received a package from Melody of the Melody Crochet podcast. We were talking on Instagram, and she said that she had found some key Melody's package. The chocolate is gone, but she did send chocolate. She sent me this really great card. Greetings from Texas. Okay. Some pomegranate white tea from Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, and she also loves Trader Joe's. Who doesn't love Trader Joe's? No, it's just tea bags, Megwin.
I like Trader Joe's because they're samples.
Okay, and then she sent me this tin for tea that has Keep Calm and Carry On it. I love tins. My husband and I both are obsessed with tins. But inside of the tin were some things.
What are those?
There are suckers shaped like the state of Texas.
Can I look at the pink one?
Sure, one of them's for you and one's for Bubby.
I want the pink one.
Okay. A temporary tattoo with the Hogwarts crest on it.
Ooh, can I see? Wow, awesome! I think you deserve this.
Oh, well, you can have that. That's okay.
You understand Hogwarts the most. I haven't even watched all my movies.
Yeah, but I think it was meant for you. Some
Ooh, that's
sparkly
pretty.
tape. We can always use sparkly tape, right?
For a sparkly shape. That
Sparkly
rhymes.
tape for a sparkly shape.
Whoops. Sorry.
A super cute little puffy teacup sticker. Let's put our hand there so it's not glary. This was what we talked about originally exchanging.
Ooh.
And that's it. But it became a swap package, which is fine. I love doing swap packages. So 2 little key progress keepers or zipper pulls. I think I'm going to put one of those on my my little bag it shows.
Hey, where's the other key?
It's in my hand. And then 2 little storybook ones. This one is Magical Creatures Volume 4. And this one is Magical Creatures Volume 1. For Griffin. And some kind of other thing.
I want to look at the griffin.
Okay, it's the blue one.
Too bad they can't open. I would actually be able to read about griffins if we could.
Yeah, you just have to pretend. What'd you do with that pink sucker? Okay, are you going to eat it?
Yeah, I'm going to eat it once I'm done looking at all your amazing things.
Okay.
They're amaze balls.
Alright, I'm going to save this one for Bubby then. He's getting the blue one. She also made a wand for Megwin, but the little end of it got broken off, so we have to glue it. But she was playing with it, and she really loves it.
Yeah, but since it was clay, when I was playing with it, I held it too hard and crack!
Yeah. Can you say thank you to Melody, though, for your cool wand?
Thank you, Melody. I'm sorry I broke it. We'll fix it.
Yep. Glue saves everything. And then
Not everything.
Yeah, sure. She crocheted me some washcloths. So they're pink. So this is like a face wash type size. This is like a bath type size. And then a tiny thing for like, you know, taking your eye makeup off and stuff like that.
Can I see?
Yeah, you can see that.
Oh, it's pretty.
Okay.
And fluffy.
Well, maybe you can keep one of these up in your bathroom for washing your face off at night. Oh, would you like that?
I want to keep the tiny one.
The tiny one? Okay, you can keep the tiny one. Why don't you go put it somewhere safe so Bubby can't get it?
I'll put it where my fish food is. Be right back.
Okay. But that's not all. She also included a skein of Cascade Heritage Prints sock yarn, which I've never tried before. It is 100 grams, 437 yards. It's a self-patterning, so it's a 75-25 merino nylon. I really love these colors, like really tropical. So that should be really pretty.
Ooh, pretty yarn.
And a bar of tuft woolens
Soap.
in the red currant.
It's soap.
And mandarin sock soap scent.
Oh,
From Martha. I think this is hilarious that she sent me a bar of sock soap that came from Ohio. So it went all the way to Texas and came all the way back to Ohio. It's well-traveled soap.
Hey.
But I love Martha's soap, so you can always use more. What do you want to say, Megwin?
And if my hair looks a little dark, it's just because I had a bath and it's really wet. And I'm gonna tell you, I have dragon Lego sets, including Skylar's castle
Oh, hey,
and the queen jacket.
Where'd you put your glasses?
In my case.
Where's your case? Can you go get it?
Still downstairs in my fire pit.
That can't possibly be. Really? You got all the way up there and put it back? You're able to reach up there now?
Yes. I'm a big girl.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's up somewhere Bubby's not going to get your glasses because he'll ruin them. He bends my glasses up really badly. Okay, you think they're safe? You believe me? Or I trust you? Why don't you go get them, though, because then you can read or something while you're up here. Yeah, you're going to need to use scissors for that. Thank you. Okay, and the coolest thing. Oh my god. I can't even, guys. She made me a TARDIS bag. She painted this. What? It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. Look at that. Wow. And it's on a really sturdy canvas bag. So I'm going to use this when I go to wool gathering for my purchases.
I can't open my lollipop. It's too sticky.
Did you cut it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's too sticky. Told you. Really sticky.
It is really sticky. You just got to peel it. See? Megwin, stop. Can you stop making weird faces at the camera? Please. Weirdo. Weirdo. Okay, here. It's a melting Texas.
A melting Texas?
Sadly apt. For the poor people from Hurricane Harvey.
Hurricane Harvey?
Mm-hmm.
What's Hurricane Harvey?
It was a hurricane that hit Texas and it flooded lots and lots of people out of their houses. Remember, like our big flood we had in the backyard, but like their whole city flooded. Lots of different cities flooded. So there's a lot of people that don't have houses right now. And they lost all their stuff.
Me? What? Well, maybe we can help with that.
Yeah.
We could?
Maybe we can send them some stuff. Or donate some money.
Yeah, that would be good enough so they could buy a new house, new food, and they could even get new money. They could get lots of their stuff back. And even new furniture. New everything, so that they could still survive.
Yep. Well,
but for now, they're just like foraging for food and stuff like that.
That's what the government's supposed to help with, sweetie. So there's lots of different people helping out.
I know
Mommy's
we're not the government, but we can still help.
Yeah, sure. Okay. The other package that I got was from Kristen. She sent me some toffee and saltwater taffy from Cape Cod. And it's already mostly eaten. I think there's a little bit left, but I have it hidden in an undisclosed location because the children don't need to know where that is. Here's a beautiful postcard that she sent to me.
Can we go to Panera at lunch instead?
That's what the plan is.
Oh, I thought we were doing it for dinner.
No. No, we're going to do roasted potatoes at dinner. We're going to go to Panera for lunch and then Jenny's. And she also included a skein of yarn for me. Because she's so awesome.
And thank you for the wand again.
Yeah, thank you, Melody, for all of this stuff, including Megwin's wand. When it's fixed, I will show it on the podcast. Or have her show it. So, Kristen included a skein of yarn. This is a Molly Girl yarn that's dyed specifically for the Pearl local yarn shop. And it matches their logo, which is like an oyster with a pearl and some knitting needles sticking out of it. So the colorway name is Water's Edge. And here it is. It reminds me of like crocus colors and springy colors. So it's got yellows, plummy purple, aqua, this more different purple, whitish blue, speckly. It's really pretty. So there it is. A lot of Molly Girls yarns is blacklight reactive, but I don't know if this one is or is not. This is her baseline fingering, 460 yards. Wow, which is a lot of yardage. So this would be a great shawl skein. 75-25 merino nylon. So thank you, Kristen, for the beautiful, beautiful skein. I love it. I received the second skein from my ThinkGeek Yarn Club by Wool and Vine Yarns. It is on the Volca base, which is her 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. The colorway is called The Owls Are Not What They Seem. If you've watched Twin Peaks, you will know what this is referencing. And it is...
the owls were aliens.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I just had to say it.
I'm not sure if they're aliens or, like, evil spirits. I'm not really sure.
Or maybe evil elves.
They're definitely not evil elves.
Elves aren't green.
So it's like a mauve-ish base with these dark speckles of different colors. There's definitely some owly colors in there. I really want to do one of my pairs of the Selbu Midden Club in red and black to call them like my Black Lodge mittens. And I have not yet got to watch the new series of Twin Peaks, so I'm excited for that whenever it happens, but haven't yet got to check it out. So that is one of my club colorways. And then I mentioned that I also, well, let's finish the Wool and Vine. Okay, and then she also had a shop update recently where she had a free swim colorway that I saw it, and I was not going to buy yarn from that shop update, but I had to have this yarn. And it was basically me in a skein. It's on the Volca base. She had 2 skeins of it. It is not, as far as I know, a repeatable colorway, but I had to have a skein of it because it is all the things that I love in one skein. So the base is a marshmallowy creamy color, which you all know marshmallows are my favorite. And then it has brown speckles for like woods. And then bright neon orange speckles for fire, like a campfire. And these deep mossy greens for the trees and forests and hiking, and a little bit of speckly blue, which I think of as like the creeks in our woods around here that I grew up around. And one of my favorite things to do as a kid was go camping, and I love camping with the kids now. That is what we do for our vacations. So yeah, I had to have it. That is Happy Camper, and I'm thinking it will probably be a socket hat maybe, because I really like socket hats. Then my other club, my Gilmore Girls club from the Yarn at Home Mom, started coming. So I bought 3 clubs kind of really close to each other, which is good because I'm trying to not buy yarn until sorry, I'm looking to make sure that the boys are not home, until the Wool Festival. And I'm still getting 3 skeins of yarn a month because I signed up for these yarn clubs at various points. So I'll have 1 more shipment of the ThinkGeeks, 1 more shipment of the Adelaide Cottage Gilmore Girls, and then 5 more shipments of the Yarn at Home Mom Gilmore Girls Club. So even if I don't buy any more yarn, I still will have tons of yarn coming in, and it's fun to get surprises in the mail. So I'm really glad that I signed up for those when I did. So this is on her basic fingering, which is a 75-25 merino nylon, 463 yards. And this month's is called What is a Danish Without Coffee? Lonely Danish, Step Danish. So it's got a gray base with shots of blue in there and brown speckles for coffee. So I think of blue as being like Luke's blue jeans, or Lorelai's blue jeans in that scene. Yeah, this colorway is so beautiful. And it also came with a progress keeper from Little Bitty Delights, which is actually on my French toast pullover, which I zipped up. It's a tiny cherry Danish. It's adorable, but I'm starting to run out of time. So rather than yanking it out of the bag, I will show you guys next time. And then I bought mitten yarn for the Selbu Midden Club from Skandir Knits. Ellie is releasing one pattern every month for, I think, 5 months. Plus you got her pattern that already was released last January. So they are knit with DK weight yarn, so I should probably start with that. And the idea is that when you finish the Midden Club, you'll have 6 pairs of colorwork mittens. I did not have any sheepy wool. I have very little DK weight in my stash anyway. It's a weight that I just don't buy that much of, but I need to rectify that because there are a lot of sweater patterns written for DK weight yarn, and all of these mittens obviously have DK weight in them. So I bought some stuff from Woolly Thistle, which I had never purchased from before. It was really great. It got great service, and they are different, more rustic yarns from the UK or from the EU. So the 2 that I got are Isle Yarns DK. It is wool from the Isle of Purbeck. This is actually a worsted spun because they didn't have any woolen spun, but it's definitely very sheepy, and I think it'll be fine. And then at the wool gathering, I'm planning on trying to find some woolen spun. So there's enough to make 2 pairs of mittens because these are 100 gram skeins and it calls for 2 50 gram skeins. So I think what I'll do is I'll do one with the dominant color being the gray and the contrast color being the red, and then I will flip them to dominant color red, contrast color gray. So the gray is Shell Track, and I don't have my other label, so I don't know what the berry color is. So this is just basically a natural, very light gray, but you can see that fuzz on it. So it's very nice and grippy. And the other one is in a deep raspberry color. It's really getting blown out on the camera. And like I said, it's also Isle Yarns DK. I wonder if I do that. No. It's looking super like neon. It's a little bit darker than that. More raspberry colored. So there's the label. Isle Yarns. And then she's also releasing a pumpkin spice latte colorwork mitten sometime in September. So for Gabby's pumpkin cow in the Once Upon a Corgi group, I want to knit that pair of mittens and then also a Luella top out of my pumpkin Knit Picks gloss yarn. So I bought yarn to do the pumpkin spice latte mittens, and of course I needed a pumpkin color. See, this should show you, like, these are actually really close to the same color, but they do not look like the same color at all. This is just darker version of pumpkin-y color. So I got 2 skeins of Tuku wool fingering, which is a Finnish wool by Titti, Finland. So it's 100% Finnish wool, and this colorway is Repo, but it's pumpkin. I love the depth of this color. Like, look at that. And this one actually is woolen spun, so it's going to be perfect for colorwork mittens. And then I got a natural Great. I got a natural color to go with it, which is sake.
Sarcastic.
Yep, I am. So whenever that mitten pattern comes out, I will start those and hopefully complete them by the end of November. So that is all my acquisitions, and I have one more thing to show you because I mentioned that I was going to try to put together a fade palette for the yarn that I got from Adelaide Cottage, which was this one called Lorelei's Dream, and it's on a sparkle piece. So I had put together these 3 colors as my fade. So this one is Tea Leaves, Angry Orchard, and then Lorelei's Dream. So what I'm going to do is on either side of those, I'm going to put a Hedgehog Fibers yarn. So I'm going to start it out with this one, which is Teacup. Let's get that neon pink out of there. So it'll go Teacup, Tea Leaves, Angry Orchard. Angry Orchard has a lot of pink in it. It's just the other end of the skein. Here, let's do that. So you can see all that pink. And then this one goes more to the peach with some rose. And then I'm going to end it with Monarch, which is very rose to orange. So that's going to be my other So Faded sweater. That will be just much more subtle pinks and peaches. So let's go. There we go. Like that. I'm really happy with it, and it's all stash. So there you go. So I'm going to end the podcast there because my husband and my son are home, and we are going to go and get lunch. And
Mom, after lunch, do you think you could come upstairs and we can put up the gate and we could play a little bit?
Yeah, we'll see what happens, Meglin.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay.
We're going to Panera and Jenny's.
Yep, so we're going to Panera and Jenny's. And I hope you all have a great week and a great Labor Day weekend.
I lollipopped your shirt.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Okay, and I will talk to you guys next time. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.